I was an only child. My parents poured everything into me: private schools, music lessons, tutoring, summer camps. They wanted me to succeed. They wanted me to be better than them. I was grateful. I worked hard. I got good grades. I went to a good college. I graduated with honors. I got a good job. I was the son they always wanted. My mother took credit for all of it. She said I would not be where I was without her. She said I owed her everything. At the time, I agreed with her. She sacrificed so much. She gave so much. I thought love was debt. I thought I would spend my whole life paying her back. Then I met Sarah. Sarah worked in my office. Different department. We started talking at the coffee machine. Then we started having lunch. Then we started dating. She was kind. She was smart. She was funny. She made me feel seen in a way I had never felt before. I told my mother about her after 6 months. I said, "Mom, I am seeing someone. I think she might be the one." My mother asked about her family, about her religion, about her background. I answered honestly. Sarah was not from our faith. Her family was different. Her background was different. My mother went silent. Then she said, "You cannot marry her." I asked why. She said, "Because she is not one of us." I said, "I love her." She said, "Love is not enough." I thought she would come around. I thought she would see how happy Sarah made me. I thought she would choose my happiness over her prejudice. I was wrong. I proposed to Sarah on a beach at sunset. She said yes. We cried. We laughed. We called our families. Sarah's parents were overjoyed. They welcomed me like a son. They said they did not care about religion or background. They cared about love and respect. I called my mother next. She did not answer. I called again. No answer. I texted her. No response. Finally, my father answered. He said, "Your mother is not taking this well. She needs time." I said, "I am getting married, Dad. I want her there." He said, "I know, son. I will talk to her." A week passed. No call from my mother. No text. Nothing. I called my father again. He said, "She is still upset. Give her space." I gave her space. 2 more weeks. Nothing. Then the text came. "I am dead to you. Do not contact me again." I tried to call her. I tried to text her. I tried to go to her house. She would not open the door. My father stood in the doorway, looking defeated. He said, "Just give her time, son. She will come around." But I waited. She did not come around. 3 days after the text, my sister called. My sister lived in another state. She did not talk to my mother much. They had their own issues. But she heard through a cousin that my mother was in the hospital. She called me crying. She said, "Ethan, Mom had a heart attack. You need to come home." I dropped everything. I drove 4 hours to the hospital. I ran through the doors. I found her room. She was lying in bed with tubes in her arms. She looked small, weak, broken. Man, I fell to my knees beside her bed. I took her hand. I said, "Mom, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I will do anything. I will do whatever you want." She looked at me. Her eyes were cold. She said nothing. She just stared. I stayed at the hospital for 3 days. I slept in a chair beside her bed. I brought her food. I held her hand. I begged her to forgive me. She did not say a single word. On the 3rd day, a nurse pulled me aside. She said, "Your mother is fine. There was no heart attack. Her tests are all normal." She asked to stay another night for observation, but medically, she is ready to go home. And I stood there in the hallway. The world tilted. I said, "What do you mean no heart attack?" The nurse said her symptoms were inconsistent with cardiac distress. We ran every test. There is no damage, no blockage. Nothing. I walked back to my mother's room. She was sitting up in bed, scrolling through her phone. She looked perfectly healthy, I said. The nurse told me, "You did not have a heart attack." Down, she did not look up from her phone. She said I had chest pains. They said it was stress. "Stress you caused." I said, "You made me drive 4 hours in the middle of the night. You made me beg for forgiveness. You made me promise to do whatever you wanted. And it was all fake." Finally looked at me. She said, "I needed to know you still loved me. I needed to know you would choose me over her." I said, "You faked a heart attack to manipulate me." She said I did what I had to do. Meant I stood there for a long time, looking at the woman who raised me. I did not recognize her anymore. Or maybe I was finally seeing her clearly for the first time. I said, "Goodbye, Mom." I walked out. I did not look back. That was the last time I saw her. The next 2 years were quiet. My mother did not contact me. I did not contact her. My father called sometimes. He sounded tired. He said your mother is still angry. He said she talks about you like you are dead. I married Sarah in a small ceremony. Her parents came. My father came. My mother did not. My sister came. She brought her kids. It was not the wedding I imagined, but it was happy. It was real. It was mine. Bean, Sarah, and I bought a house. We got a dog. We talked about having children. I thought about my mother sometimes. I wondered if she would ever meet her grandchildren. I wondered if she would ever apologize. I wondered if I would ever forgive her. Then the lawsuit came. I was at work when the papers were delivered. A man in a suit handed me an envelope. I opened it. It was a lawsuit. My mother was suing me for $120,000. The cost of my college tuition, plus interest, plus legal fees. The complaint said I had breached a verbal contract. It said I had promised to repay my parents for my education. It said my engagement to Sarah was a violation of family values. It said I owed my mother for everything she sacrificed. I laughed. Then I almost cried. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Rachel. She was young, sharp, angry on my behalf. She read the complaint and said, "This is absurd. There is no contract. Parents do not sue their children for college tuition. This will not hold up in court." Len, I asked what I should do. She said, "Do not respond emotionally. Do not call her. Do not text her." "Let me handle it," I agreed. Rachel filed a motion to dismiss. She argued that there was no written contract, that college tuition was a gift, not a loan, that my mother had no legal standing to demand repayment years later. Then my mother's lawyer filed a response. They argued that I had made verbal promises to repay, that my mother had sacrificed her retirement for my education, that I was ungrateful and dishonest, and the case was scheduled for trial. Rachel called me into her office. She said, "I have an idea." She said, "We can fight this in court. We will probably win, but it will take months. It will cost you money. It will drag your name through the mud." I said, "What is your idea?" "Man," she said, "we countersue for emotional distress, for defamation, for abuse of process. Your mother faked a heart attack to manipulate you. That is documented. The hospital has records. The nurse can testify. That is not normal behavior. That is emotional abuse." I said, "I do not want to destroy her." She said, "She is trying to destroy you. She is suing you for money. She gave you willingly. She is trying to punish you for marrying someone she does not approve of. That is not justice. That is revenge." I thought about it for a week. I talked to Sarah. I talked to my father. I talked to my sister. My father said, "Do not do it, son. She is still your mother." My sister said, "Do it. She has been doing this to everyone her whole life. Someone needs to stop her." I called Rachel. I said, "File the countersuit." The deposition was scheduled for a Tuesday. My mother and I sat in the same room for the first time in 2 years. She looked older, harder. She would not look at me. Her lawyer asked me questions for 3 hours. About college, about money, about promises I may or may not have made. I answered everything honestly. I said there was no contract. I said she never asked for repayment. I said she was suing me because she did not like my wife. My mother's lawyer objected. The judge overruled. Then Rachel questioned my mother. She asked about the heart attack. My mother said it was real. She said she had chest pains. She said the doctors were wrong. Then Rachel presented the hospital records. Every test was normal. The discharge summary said no cardiac event. The nurse's note said patient requested to stay overnight despite normal results. My mother's face went pale. Then Rachel asked if she had faked the heart attack to manipulate her son. My mother said no. Rachel asked if she had blocked her son after he announced his engagement. My mother said yes. Rachel asked why. My mother said because he chose that woman over me. Then Rachel asked if she believed her son owed her for his college tuition. My mother said yes. "He promised to pay it back," Rachel asked. "When he made that promise?" My mother said many times. When Rachel asked if there was any written record of that promise, my mother said no. Then Rachel asked if she had ever asked for repayment before the engagement. My mother said no. Rachel asked if she was suing her son because he married someone she did not approve of. My mother said no. Rachel said no further questions. The deposition ended. My mother still would not look at me. The judge encouraged us to settle before trial. She said the case was weak. She said my mother would likely lose. She said legal fees would be high for both sides. Dan's my mother's lawyer asked for a settlement conference. We agreed. We sat in a small room. 2 lawyers, 2 clients. A mediator, my mother's lawyer, offered to drop the case if I paid $50,000. Rachel said no. They offered $25,000. Rachel said no. They offered $10,000. Rachel said no. Then my mother's lawyer asked what we wanted. Rachel said we want the case dismissed with prejudice. We want your client to pay our legal fees. And we want a written statement from your client acknowledging that the college tuition was a gift, not a loan. My mother stood up. She said, I will never sign that. The mediator asked her to sit down. She refused. She said, he is my son. He owes me. He owes me everything. Aunt Rachel said, the lawsuit is dismissed, or we go to trial, and at trial we will present evidence of the fake heart attack, the hospital records, the nurse's testimony, everything. My mother's lawyer whispered to her. My mother sat down. She signed the agreement. The case was dismissed. She paid our legal fees. She wrote the statement acknowledging the tuition was a gift. She left the room without looking at me. That was the last time I saw her. It has been a year since the lawsuit. My mother and I do not speak. My father calls sometimes. He says she is bitter. She tells everyone I stole from her. She tells everyone I ruined her life. I do not defend myself anymore. People who know me know the truth. People who believe her were never on my side to begin with. Sarah and I are happy. We have a daughter now. She is 6 months old. She has her mother's eyes and my smile. My father came to meet her. He held her for an hour and cried. He said, I am sorry for everything. I said, I know, Dad. My mother has not met her granddaughter. I said, I know, Dad. My mother has not met her granddaughter. She says she will not until I apologize. I will not apologize. I did nothing wrong. I fell in love. I chose my partner. I built a life. My mother went nuclear over my engagement. She blocked me. She claimed a heart attack. She sued me for college money. She lost. I did not want to win. I wanted a mother who loved me unconditionally. I wanted a family that celebrated my happiness. I wanted something I never had. But I built something new. A wife who loves me. A daughter who needs me. A life that is mine. And that is enough. If you are going through something similar, here is my advice. Love is not debt. You do not owe your parents for raising you. You do not owe them for feeding you and clothing you and paying for your education. Those were their choices, not your obligation. If they try to make you feel guilty for living your own life, walk away, not because you do not love them, because you love yourself enough to not be destroyed by them. My mother tried to take everything from me, my happiness, my future, my money. She lost, not because I am smarter or stronger, because she was wrong. And the truth has a way of winning in the end. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more tales of family betrayal and the courage to choose yourself. Click the bell for notifications, and remember, you are not responsible for your parents' happiness. You are responsible for your own.